Hey there, mountain dreamers. Today I'm coming to you to take the mystery out of how to be a short-term vacation rental landlord. Stay tuned, you're not gonna wanna miss it. I've got a ton of questions you should be asking yourself as well as interviewing professional property managers. Okay, big juicy topic today, but before I get started, make sure you click the subscribe button below, the like button, and let me know what comments you have, what questions you have, so that I can answer them for you for the rural resort markets of Colorado. Okay, so when you're thinking about purchasing a property in a resort area or even anywhere now, there's so many Airbnbs and vacation rental by owners everywhere in the US right now. You really need to focus on how you're going to manage it. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is you need to manage your expectations about income, especially with the skyrocketing costs of properties right now all over the US. There is going to be a slim to none chance that you are going to actually cash flow like we talk about when we have like a long-term tenant in our properties. What you can expect is that maybe the income is going to offset some of your costs. So it might pay for your HOA dues, it might pay for your mortgage service, it might pay for that loan payment that you're making, it might pay to keep the lights on, and you might have a little extra left over at the end of the year. But remember, the coolest part about owning a vacation property that you also rent out is that you get to come and use it when you're not renting it out. So it's kind of like it can pay for itself in a way, and that you're not paying for your vacations. When you consider that the average ski vacation for 4 people in Colorado costs around $10,000. So we're talking about airfare, ski lift tickets, lodging for 1 week for 4 people, all the gear, all the things, the restaurants, the dining out, all the things, $10,000 for 1 week. If you can offset that cost in any way by purchasing your own income property, that's what we see a lot of. A lot of people who come to our area year over year and they say to themselves, well, why don't I just own a property so that I can enjoy it and then make a little money on it when I'm there? And so it's not a cash condo like a condo that you might own near a major university. It's not going to be a cash cow. It's going to offset your costs, and it's going to allow you to go on vacation in the same place that you usually do and have the vacation sort of paid for. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know when you call us, when you talk to us, or if you go to a different market, before you purchase that income property, you need to make sure that it's allowed. So some of the condo buildings, some of the HOAs, some of the county laws and restrictions, some of the resort laws and restrictions aren't going to allow short-term rentals. So for example, in Summit County, we have what's called deed restricted housing. And that is where locals who work here for a certain period of time can live in those units. It's to help keep things affordable for them. For those units, you can't short-term rent them. So you're going to need to know that right up front when you call and talk with us, or when you call and talk with your realtor in another area, is to say, hey, I need to make sure I can rent this out when I'm not using it to short-term guests. So make sure you consider those rules when it comes to the HOA, the government, the resort itself. The HOA might restrict rentals in certain ways as well. They might restrict the amount of days that you can rent your place out. So for example, we've got a couple of great listings right now in a wonderful community called Ruby Ranch in Silverthorne, Colorado. They are huge houses. They do have an HOA, and you cannot rent your place out for more than 150 days out of the year. So there are all different types of restrictions that you're going to need to be aware of, and make sure you ask those questions up front. Another thing to think about are taxes and insurance. When you are a short-term landlord, you are going to be paying sales taxes through a hotel type license to the county, to the town, and sometimes you're going to be paying extra fees to your HOA as well. So just remember that when you're factoring in your expenses. Also remember the extra insurance. Some companies, if you choose to work with a property manager, will handle all of that for you, and I'll go over that a little bit later as we're talking about how to interview property managers. So just remember those expenses. Taxes and insurance are going to be different if you're a short-term landlord. Something else to consider, especially for those of you who are thinking that you want to manage your place yourself from far away, is you need to know what the rules are about pets. In Summit County and in Colorado in general, it's one of the funniest things I have ever experienced because people love their dogs in Colorado, but they don't love it when the dogs are stuck inside the condo all day while you're out skiing and the poor dog is barking. Or if you have a place like River Run Village in Keystone, does not allow dogs because in the beginning when they did, everyone was bringing their dogs, leaving them in the condos all day when they were skiing, and then taking them out to use the restroom and not picking up after the animals. So there are a lot of HOAs, a lot of homeowners associations that will not allow pets, period, not even for owners. So make sure you talk to us about that. It's part of our interview process when we talk to you because we know that a lot of times your dog is a part of your family. And if you're coming up from Denver and you want to bring the pup along, we've got to figure something else out for you. Same thing goes with your guests. You're going to have to determine if it's allowed in your HOA or allowed in your community. Are you going to allow it in your unit? Now, a lot of people love to allow pets in their rentals because it means they can charge more money. But just think about pets who aren't well behaved or aren't well taken care of, and they might actually destroy your property, and you might not have time to figure out how to clean all that up before the next guest checks in. But there are a lot of opportunities there if you are a pet-friendly short-term vacation rental. The other thing to consider is smoking. And I'm not just talking about cigarettes, I'm talking about marijuana. It's legal in Colorado. People come to Colorado to have a marijuana vacation. They come here to relax, to have fun, to be on vacation, to get drunk, to get high, whatever. You need to decide now if you're gonna allow that in your unit. And again, there are consequences and rewards for that, because if you are a marijuana friendly or smoking friendly unit, you probably have a lot of people that want to come find you and rent your place, and you can make more money for that and probably charge more on the deposit for that. So just something to think about, again, when you're thinking about your short-term vacation renter guests. Other things to consider are your check-in and your checkout procedures. How are you going to handle emergencies? And how are you going to handle it if more people show up to the unit than what have promised to be there? So these are all things that a professional property manager can help you with, especially if you are not local. I highly recommend that you find someone local that's going to help you take care of these types of situations, because I've been in the area long enough to watch the progression of a new law roll out and a new telephone system roll out, because the major problems that we have with short-term rentals are people, so the amount of people that show up, parking. People, when they come, they don't know that they can't park in certain areas of the street because of the snow plows. They park in front of fire hydrants. They park where they're not supposed to be parking on, on someone else's property. And then we have this issue with trash. So we have people come to our area and they don't understand that the bears will get in the trash and any other wild animals. And then sometimes people just come here and party like rock stars and they're just plain trashy. So if you have a guest in your property and you're not here and the neighbor calls and says, hey, they're parking in my yard, they're putting trash everywhere, they forgot to secure the trash, the bears have strewn it out, and there's too many people. Well, it used to be that those people who were complaining about these short-term rentals were calling the cops, calling the police. And the police were like, well, wait a minute, this isn't really like, rules or laws being broken. There's nothing we can do. So recently, in the past year or two, Summit County and the other towns have implemented a special telephone number that it's a non-emergency telephone number. And if you're a short-term rental landlord, property owner, you have to have a telephone number on that registry so that if any of these problems happen. The reason that I'm telling you this is because a lot of you folks think that you can come here and manage your place from far away, and for the majority of it, you can. A lot of you guys are marketing experts. You can rock your calendar out, you can take the best pictures, you can get all the reviews, you can drop it into your Airbnb account, drop it into your vacation rental by owner account, and do all the online stuff. But you need someone local to take care of the local problems. So if you get a call in the middle of the night that the toilet has exploded and there's water everywhere, but you're thousands of miles away, we need to find someone to help you with that issue. Don't worry, there's plenty of property managers that'll do a hybrid model for you. So they'll do what's called boots on the ground, and they'll take care of those emergencies for you. But there's also property managers that will do everything for you start to finish. So if you just want to get that paycheck in the mail and not worry about the calendar, not worry about the marketing, not worry about check in, check out, who showed up, who didn't, how do I arrange for the cleaners, what happens if they tore the handle off the toilet, whatever. There's plenty of property managers in the county that will help you with that kind of thing. Before I get to my last consideration, please drop a comment below. What did I miss? What questions do you have about considering being a landlord in a resort vacation market? Please make sure you click the like button, and you've got the other button there, but I don't think you're gonna click it. And just let me know how we can do better, how we can serve you with your real estate needs in the county. Okay, what's the most important factor to consider when you're thinking about being a landlord in a vacation market or a short-term rental landlord? It's the guest experience. You need to think of yourself now as a hotelier, as Mr. Hilton himself, or now it's Paris Hilton. From the minute that they start looking for you online, to the moment that they book, to the moment that they show up, people are coming here on vacation ready to spend their money and have a good time. If you have an experience that they will remember in a good way, they're gonna come back and visit your place again the following year. Think about it. If you've got folks coming on an airplane, say from Texas or Kansas or Florida or New York, somewhere far away, and they left their house early in the morning, let's say at 7 in the morning to get to the airport, then they take the plane trip to Denver, then they take the drive from Denver up to the county, which can be crazy busy, crazy hairy, crazy scary on the roads. They land in your place, they find your place, and they open the door, and it's a wonderful experience. Maybe you have a gift basket waiting for them. Maybe the music is turned on, maybe the lights are turned on. You have your book in there that tells them everywhere they can go to eat, everywhere they can find ski rental equipment, where they can go rent a boat, whatever it is. Just think about how when you go on vacation, all of the wonderful, nice things that people have done for you, and how when you show up to a place, you just want to land there and relax and collapse sometimes after a long day's journey. So that is the most important thing to consider when you're thinking about being a landlord for a vacation rental by owner or Airbnb or whatever you want to call it. I call it a short-term vacation rental landlord. That's the most important thing to consider, is the guest experience. So if you're having problems with that, if you don't know how to deal with all those nuts and bolts, don't worry about it. We've got you covered. At the Mountain Dream Team, we are not property managers. We only do sales, but we do have a ton of property managers that we can refer you to, and it's always changing. So I'm going to do another video to tell you how to interview property managers, the intelligent questions to ask to make sure that you are protected and that you get that money coming in when you're not on vacation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.